That's beautiful private footage from a German soldier taken in the Ukraine in the fall of 1943 that shows a defensive fort made out of logs. I love the tall camouflaged watchtower. That's something you'd expect to see in an American Wild West film. For the Nazis, that's what the Ukraine was, a territory to move into, tame, and incorporate into the greater German nation. Sort of a German manifest destiny. The film, taken near the Ukrainian city of Zhitomir, fits in nicely with our subject for the day. I just got back from the UK with a batch of rare originals and private film footage that will be used as content in future videos. Among them was this nice collection of Die Wehrmacht periodicals from 1944. Today we'll be looking at this special edition and see film footage related to it in the articles. At the end of the video I'll show some more of that private footage, so stick around. If you'd like to see the entire 12.5 minutes of footage, go to Patreon and become a channel member. You won't be disappointed, I promise. This is the Die Wehrmacht Ausgabe A from 1944, number 1, that was released on January 12th. The normal Die Wehrmacht periodicals were intended to be sold in Germany. Ausgabe A, or Edition A, were sold in Allied and occupied countries and today are more valuable than the normal editions. Here we can see the prices for the different countries. The cover of the corresponding normal edition can be seen on the second page of the Ausgabe A. The normal editions were published 1 week earlier. The first article covers the heavy fighting around the city of Zhitomir. About 170 kilometers from Kiev, the city had become an important and secret headquarters of the SS, which Himmler called Hegewald. This is a photo of Himmler at the headquarters in late 1942. Early in the war, after Hitler had mentioned that the farmers tilling the land in the area looked very much like German farmers, Himmler had put together a plan to introduce around 10,000 Volksdeutsche, or settlers of German descent, to the region and to remove the Slavic population. Ethnic cleansing was done by the Soviets on a larger scale. They saw those of German descent as fascists, and by the end of 1941 had deported around 900,000 that were living within the Soviet Union to the Kazakhstan region. There they were interned in gulags to live with captured German soldiers under terrible living conditions and used for slave labor.
Von der Ostfront.
This is a clip from Deutsche Wochenschau number 697 from January 12th of 1944. It shows a German defensive position situated near Zhitomir. It's especially interesting because it shows how the defenses were built up, and then shows how the position was successfully defended during a Soviet attack. Here we see an artillery spotter positioned in a destroyed Soviet tank located in front of the German lines. A heavy Soviet artillery barrage signals the likely begin of a large attack. The soldiers in the trenches prepare for the possibility of close combat. The German artillery receives firing coordinates and begins to open fire. Because of the accuracy of the German artillery, the Soviet tanks are unable to advance. German Stugs that are lying in wait advance to counter the Soviet attack. They engage the Soviet tanks and anti-tank guns individually. German grenadiera that have been carried on the advancing Stugs dismount and attack the Romanian Soviet pockets of resistance. This is more of the private 1943 footage taken in the Ukraine. As I let it run, I'll take the opportunity to explain the additional material that I offer to Patreon channel member subscribers. Much of the material in the massive film archive can't be shown publicly because of its violent nature. It's completely uncensored. I find it unsatisfying and frankly even dangerous to produce historical videos that don't show the horror of the war. On the other hand, I want to keep historical accuracy as a driving theme and not become a blanket provider of explicitly violent material. This project is about historical accuracy. It's not about releasing ghoulish footage to the public. The catchphrase of the video service, "Come and see," comes from the 1985 Russian film of the same name. That film effectively portrays the intense violence and the psychological damage that it caused that took place during the war in a sober manner. This is a project in development that's evolving, and I was unsure how channel subscribers would react to the material. The feedback received so far seems to show that we're going in the right direction. Here's an example of a comment made about one private film reel that was recently released. After watching that, it's tough to say that this is what I was hoping for. Let's just say it's good footage. Very heart-wrenching. Of course, not all of the exclusive material that channel members gain access to contains explicit violence. The private footage taken by soldiers is made up of a mixture of what you'd expect: locations, scenes of their day-to-day lives, local populations, military themes, and even atrocities committed. For those who have already become Patreon channel members, thank you for taking part in the development of this ambitious project. If you haven't yet and think that having access to this kind of material sounds interesting, well, come and see. Thanks for watching.